Hi, and welcome everyone to the Sands of Time, the end of life journey and beyond. My name is Lisa Strahs-Lorenc, and I am a bereavement specialist. And hi, Susan. We have an exciting day for us today. How you
I
doing today?
know. So looking forward to this. I'm Susan Capurso. I'm an end-of-life doula and legacy specialist. And really excited because I know our guest, Marisa, a little tiny bit. We met each other before, but I don't know enough. So I'm learning today as much as everybody else is. So why don't you introduce our guest, Lisa?
I am really pleased to introduce Marisa Striano of Spriit Farms. So Marissa was born on Long Island, and her love for horses began at the age of 8. That's nice and early, I'll tell you that much.
Yes,
She
it
graduated
is.
from St. Mary's High School and then went on to further education at Stonehill College in Massachusetts. She studied BA in psychology. We all think, okay, now what are you going to do with a psychology degree? She had many jobs in her lifetime, and she did work as a special education teacher. She worked in other industries as well. But in 2007, she met a different love of her life named Spriit. So he's the gilded buckskin who captured her heart. With him in her life and her love of animals and a new path to helping others, she became the founder and board president of Spirit's Promise Equine Rescue. It's located in Riverhead, New York, in 2010. In 2012, tragedy happened. Marissa had a terrible fall off Spriit. She was actually told by her ER doctor to remain on the ground and not to be riding horses anymore. And following her fall, Marissa had a visit from a beautiful soul who had just lost her son to suicide. She came to the farm with no agenda, but she wanted to honor her son's wish to pet a horse. Her son, unfortunately, had died before that could happen. And she realized that she was supposed to help people from the ground, which is just such a beautiful inspiration. So Marissa's vision was to help both horses and people, and it led her to become certified in Equine Assisted Growth and Learning Association. In addition, she completed a certification as an Equine Life Coach through the Koelle Institute. And in her self discovery during this time, she also realized that she needed to help people who were grieving. So her sole purpose is to help people love themselves, again, giving back them the tools and the experiences they need to survive and thrive. That is so inspirational, Marissa. That's
Thank
just
Yeah.
an
you.
interesting journey to go on.
Yes, it's I coach a lot of people here at Spirits Promise, and what I do is I help them uh find their path. And what we do is we do a lot of detours around, and we go all the way to the right and then all the way to the left, and then we go a little straight and then right and left, and it takes years. So it was in my 50s when I realized that I had to help people, and I didn't know the how I wanted to, because my dad was a very big inspiration for me. He just passed May 29th, but it was very interesting. He was old. He lived a really good life, and he taught me that if people ask for help, you have to help them. And I just started rescuing horses, and then as I started rescuing horses, people started to come, mostly women, because horses are prey animals and women are preyed upon.
Hmm.
So their energies matched. Then I realized that women that were in grief, because women grieve very differently than men do. Men do not grieve in groups. It's very rare that they do that. They're private grievers. And we realized that we needed to work with grieving people in the same grief. So if it's loss of a child, loss of a parent, loss of a spouse, they all have to be separate, because not all grief is the same. And I partner now with East End Hospice, and they create the groups. They get the people, and I bring the horses. I translate what the horses are doing. It is such a magical experience because people are so grounded and focused and they become very linear and grounded in their crazy brain of grief, that it actually gives them time to heal. And the horses mirror back to them who they are. We usually put the horse in the round pen. I have a beautiful 70-foot round pen that we just built, and it represents so much of who we are here at Spirit's Promise. It's a sacred space where people can come to heal. And the horses mirror back who their grief to them, because the horse is the grief or the person that they lost. It's a beautiful experience. I hope the two of you come one day to experience it.
I would love
Well,
to
that's
see
how
that.
we had met, because I volunteer for Eastern Hospice, and I came assisting that day just to be an extra hand in case.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a magical experience. It really was. I could attest to that. It was a beautiful, beautiful day. And just the way you spoke and told the people what to look for and how the animals were responding back to them. And it was really lovely, I have to tell you.
Thank
So,
you. It's, they make me look good though. That's why.
how many years have you been there?
14 years this August. And I think we've rescued probably around 70 to 80 horses. We don't like to adopt them out because we always get them back. Very rarely do we have an adoption out that stays out and is very healthy. We usually get them back. Rescued horses have trauma that you really can't tap into, but the herd can. So they have triggers, and the herd knows how to handle each other. And the way they do that is through a lot of boundaries. A new horse coming into the herd doesn't know where they belong. So the horses that are there already tell them. It's how people should be. It's like we always want to know, like, we're all roaming this earth trying to figure out where we belong and who we belong with. And if somebody has no boundaries and all of a sudden they do, they become like, oh my God, what happened? But a horse will show you right away, right away. But grief and trauma work really well with horses because they look for congruency. If you're sad on the inside and you're sad on the outside, you're not a wolf in sheep's clothing. But if you are sad on the inside and you're like, I'm fine, I'm ready to go, the horse knows that you're incongruent and something's wrong.
Wow, I don't even get how they do that. How did they do
Because
that?
they're energy readers. That's all they do, or they just read energy. They examine their environment constantly. They're constantly looking at their environment because they're prey animals. At any time they could die. Anytime a mountain lion. So when you come on the property, it's your heart syncs with theirs. There is a field that they create where they bring you into the herd and they make your heart and their heart sync together. So if you see a mountain lion at the gate and they don't see them, they know there's danger.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So interesting.
So you can bring in children, you can bring in adults, you can bring in any kinds of people who need
Yes. I do not work with children as much. Like when people are saying, do you work with special needs children? I like to work with the parents of the special needs children because those the carers, the caregivers are a lot of times lost because there's so much happening for the people with whatever they're dealing with. Like Alzheimer's patients, I don't work with them. I work with their caregivers. So it's very interesting because those people don't really see themselves other than a caregiver. They just don't, they've lost their identity. A
Yeah.
lot of the times, yes. And it's a lot of women.
Yeah. Do you strictly work with grief, with groups in grief?
That's my primary, but I also work with trauma. I work with PTSD. I work with the military. I work with many different people have blocks in life and they don't know how to get past them because they're conditioned to stay in one place. Sometimes the horses can mirror back to them. Why? why are you stopped? You have to move out of this space. It's not working for you.
Ah,
Give us an example,
yeah, that's
because
amazing.
there was certain,
Okay,
there
so
was,
okay, so I'll give you an example of congruency. I had a woman show up one day, I knew her. Her son was a recovering addict. And we had an outside round pen at the time, and he came in, he was wearing a hoodie and his hands were covered, and he was, he wanted to be invisible. So I always start out with grooming, because grooming is heart to heart. So you're reaching up and the horse's heart is right there. And it's a place of vulnerability for both people. For both people, because I call the horse people, sorry. For both horse and human. And they relax into the fact that they're both vulnerable. So she loved him so much, she did not want to go away from him. If she could have jumped into his pocket, she would have. And a lot of people, when I tell this story, say to themselves, he's an addict. Wasn't she scared? He's an addict. You know, what was he? He was unpredictable. No, he was completely broken. And she understood being completely broken. She's like, I get you. I totally get you. And I feel it. And what happens is that there was like this symbiotic relationship that happened, because she wasn't afraid of him because he was broken like her. They started walking around the round pen, and they were like, she was syncing with his walk, and it was beautiful to watch. And finally he turned to his mom and he says, Mom, why don't you come in here? You should feel this. This is amazing. So Heartbreaker takes a walk over to the side, and she comes in, and immediately when Heartbreaker is in that round pen and he and I left the round pen, she flipped out.
Mm.
She wanted nothing to do with this woman, nothing to do with her. And she goes, what's happening? Why isn't she calm? And I said, well, that's a question I have for you. There was so much stuff down in her, so much anger stuffed down, that that she really masks a lot and doesn't show. And the Heartbreaker was like, I know you're lying. You're very angry, but you're sounding like you're okay. But there's so much anger in there. That was a turning point for me when I saw that. That was amazing.
Wow, that the
wow.
horse can pick up that is
Oh, the horse sees
incredible.
everything. Horses do not lie. They see everything. I had another woman come into the barn for a grief group. We were starting grooming. Same horse. She's passed since then. Same horse. And all of a sudden, all their heads are out and everybody's looking. And then Heartbreaker turns and we see her butt. So she turns to me and she goes, well, what does this mean? I said, it means we have to find another horse. She doesn't want to talk to you. That was like, whatever you do, I don't want to be any part of this thing at all. So we have to respect that.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, they're
That's really,
very fun. They're very funny, and they all have their own personalities. We have a police horse named Major. He's 0017 is his badge number. So in the year 2000, he was the 17th horse picked up by the mounted unit. And he likes everything very structured, and he's a very linear horse, and he's not a prey animal. They've taught him to go into danger like like a war horse. They've taught him to go into the danger, go into the crowds, go into the craziness. Whereas horses are like, I don't want any part of that craziness. That energy is up too high. So we have a horse named Gus, who's from Gallup, New York, who was a therapeutic riding horse until he didn't want to do it anymore. And he's in love with one of our other horses here that's a redhead. She's a red chestnut, and he has to see her all the time, even though he's going blind because he's 40. It's like Peyton Place out there. They're all doing something. Who's taking the hay? Who took off somebody's halter? And it's very funny. And all women volunteer here. They're in their 60s. And I have a fabulous barn manager, property manager. She's younger because she's the only one that could basically sustain the work that has here. So she's in her 30s. And it's truly amazing to watch people heal as they muck poop out of the stall because they don't think
Right.
about anything else.
Right. How many horses do you have in total there
Right now
right
we have 16 horses.
16.
Well, like
And
14 grown large horses and 1 mini and 1 donkey and 2 cows. 2 cows, 8 goats and 2 pigs and ducks and chickens. My mother didn't let me have a fish, not a cat, not
There
a
you go.
dog,
There you
a
go.
bird, nothing.
Now you made up for it.
Yeah, she doesn't visit much, but yeah, I did.
Wow.
do you live
Wow.
nearby or on the property,
I
or
live right on the property. So,
is it?
and people every time oh my God, you're living my dream. It is so much work. It is
Yeah,
so much work. People don't realize how much work it is.
yeah.
You have a bunch of prey animals, minus the pigs who are omnivores. So they're prey animals and they're predators. And anytime one of them can get sick, somebody can get loose, somebody needs our attention, and at any time I have to make sure everything is perfect before I do
I have
anything.
to tell you how I know this because I just finished every season of Heartland.
Ah, yes, Heartland.
And I gotta tell you, I loved it so much that I think about it every day. And I think, why is it over? It shouldn't have ended.
I
You
know
know,
they're your friends. They're your friends. You're like, no, I want to see them.
but I had to keep watching it. It was such a feel-good series to watch. You know, to catch a couple episodes every night, it would help me relax. And I love the things that they did with the horses, and they're amazing. You've seen it, I'm sure.
You know what? I have not seen Heartland. I'm a Yellowstone girl because it's a lot of drama in there. There's a lot of drama in there, but I have to watch Heartland because everybody talks about it.
I never thought I'd be a fan. And something about it helped me relax, and my brain goes mushy at night. And I really enjoyed being there in
I
that on
have
that.
to start I have to start watching it.
It's
I
nice.
have to
It's
start
nice.
watching it.
So now, let me ask you about, I know through the hospice when we came with the group of people who were grieving, right? So
Hmm.
we did that type of thing. Those the only type of groups that you have, or can people come in just on a one at a time and get some therapy
Yes,
from?
I have private counseling. You can, I have a private round pens. It's about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. It's depending upon the client. If you go online, you can register with me. I have my dear friend Sherry Turpin. She takes all my appointments, and we do not take insurance. So we unfortunately we don't until we get a licensed social worker that hopefully we'll get that in the near future. Then we can start doing that. But I have a lot of clients. I'm always booked up on the weekends, and we work with ADRC as well. So the Alzheimer's people come, the patients with their caregivers, they come, and the smell of horses, olfactory, and also your what you hear, your nose and your hearing, when you hear the horses neigh and you smell the hay and the manure, it reminds them of it brings them back. It makes them a little bit more lucid. So it's really cool.
Hmm,
And we
interesting.
also work with New Hope Rising, I don't think they're called rehabilitation houses. I don't think they're called sober houses anymore. And that's very interesting because you have people that some of them are newer, some of them have been there a while, and their energies are all different. So there's about 5 of them that come at a time, and then I put one at a time in the round pen, and they watch the difference. And they notice how he or she is behaving with the horse and how it shows up in their life with them at the house.
Yeah. I
So
mean, the
good.
closest that I was to horses my entire life was that day when I was there.
Oh, I'm
And
so happy you enjoyed yourself so
I
much.
did. It was wonderful, wonderful. I can't praise it enough. And some of them were so big. So
They're
that
all
can
huge. Yeah,
be a
they're
little
huge.
intimidating when you're standing next to, because
Well, you
it's,
have to remember that they're prey animals, and they're prey animals, so it's fight, flight, or freeze. So the first thing a horse will do is run away from you because they really don't want to fight. It takes up too much energy, and they need their energy to run away if something, because their only job is to stay alive at the end of the day. So they need their energy to leave where the danger. And because those groups work so well, because everybody sees themselves and everyone else, and that's why they don't feel so alone. And then the horse comes in. We had one group started talking about, this is such bullshit, this is so awful, this is terrible, I can't stand it, this shit sucks. All of a sudden somebody comes in and lifts up their tail and he poops. The horse comes in and poops right in the middle of the circle. I'm like, okay, you just said this shit sucks, and then the horse came in. It was just very funny. Those are the
yes,
stories I
yes,
have.
yeah, because they're almost real. I'm not, I didn't mean to say it like that. They are real, but they understand. They
And
understand.
they
You
do
find,
understand. They do. And we have there's a lot of sadness on the property at times. I mean, we have people that are grieving. We have people that are going through very difficult times. We have horses that pass. And then we have oh, shoot, I'm sorry. You guys edit this, right? Don't you?
No,
yeah,
no,
No.
we're that's all right.
The sorry, I just got on the phone call. The what was I going to say? I just lost my train. The balance of the property because of the grieving is the line dancing we have here. So we have line dancing, we have lessons, and we have barn parties, and we have so many different things that are happening, and it's joyful. So I always tell people when they come in here that it balances out the property. Their joy of dancing and laughing and smiling and meeting each other balances out the sadness that we have, because we have to take care of where we live. We have to take care of the land, the animals, everything. It's very cool.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
understand the organization since I'm a not-for-profit background person.
I can't,
All
I'm
right.
sorry, guys.
That's all right, Marissa.
Oh, there you are. Sorry.
So is the organization a not-for-profit? It's a 501c3 or just a separate business organization?
We are a not-for-profit. I have
Okay.
just lost sound. Hold on a second.
Okay,
Hold
no,
on a
we can
minute.
still hear you. We're good.
You can still hear me? Okay.
Yep, we can. We can.
Yes, we are a not-for-profit. We've been a not-for-profit for 14 years. We're a 501c3, and we have fundraisers, we have investors, we have people that are really believe in our mission and help us. And then we're having garage sales in August. We try to have a lot of little things that people can come and support us. We don't have, unfortunately, we don't have big galas or anything like that, but we have little things here and there, you know.
Yeah.
It's a big undertaking.
Yes.
Yeah. I imagine it can be very expensive feeding 17,
Yes.
16 horses.
So how many staff do you actually have?
Hold on one second, guys. I can't
Sure.
hear you.
Well, I'm
Hold on a minute.
good. We're good. We hear you.
I don't know why I can't hear you now. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm not
Can
sure.
you hear us now? We're good?
I can hear you. You got very quiet, but okay, that's
Okay.
good.
All right. So the staff. So how many paid staff do you actually have there? Because you have volunteers, obviously, too.
So we have a lot of volunteers. Our paid staff, we have around 10 women that are all part-time. Because we can't, one thing that my barn manager, property manager actually makes sure of is that she doesn't want anyone to get burnt out. Because it's exhausting, especially in this weather. It's absolutely exhausting.
Yeah. So that's good.
And as far as people coming, so is there a limit as to how many times they would really come and be helped? You know, if they're grieving or if they're going through some trauma, Like, what is kind
Well,
of the
you'd
average?
have to make an appointment with me if you want a round pen. However, we have tours on Sunday that people can register for. And they come in and we have tour guides that are volunteers that tell you everything about every animal on the property.
Okay.
And then they would sit and meet with you and you would determine what exactly they needed, if they needed a group
If
or
they
one
just,
on
yes,
one.
well, I would talk to them and figure out what they needed and how it would work and how I could help them. And then I decide usually when they get here what horse to use. That's not done in advance. And some people say, I really like to work with this horse. Yeah, but let's work with a horse that you're not as familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was there that day with the group, everybody worked with the horses and did some simple exercises. Do people ride your horses?
We don't ride at all here.
Okay.
We don't ride because they're not reliable. Rescues are not reliable. They're not. So we can't have, I mean, other people think that these rescues are, you'd have to really work with them, but they're so tired. We save the lesson horse a lot. We rescue the lesson horse. We call it a 401 hay. So we rescue them and they don't want to do that anymore. They're in retirement.
I see. Okay, good. That's
So
good.
our website is spiritspromiserescue.org.
And the phone number?
You can go on there and you can find out we're in the process now of revamping our website. We have a lot of horses that we have bios about them, how they got to us, what we learned about them. We also have six, I believe 6 new coaches coming up to actually do what I do. So I'm training them because it's too, I can't keep up with it all.
Oh, sure.
New coaches have a
Yeah, we
background in
collaborated with the school that I learned from in California, and they came here and they taught. First time on the East Coast, yes.
So that's really interesting to become an Equus Life Coach through this
Yes.
Koelle Institute. So a lot of it is counseling kinds of techniques, but learning how the horse actually reacts or how
The horses actually add such a layer, and it's not, I'm not a therapist, so I'm a coach. So there are different rules that apply to me. When you have a social worker working with you, that's actually an EAGALA model. That's what they do over there. But I take it and I work with now. Koelle actually sold her business to the Equus Coaching, the Center for Equus Coaching, and we work really well with each other, and the coaches that are coming up really love it.
Oh, fascinating. I never
and
knew
the insights are here in the round pen.
Very nice.
Really interesting. What's the phone number over there, by the way?
The phone number is 631-875-0433.
Okay. Great. Wow.
Well, thank you, ladies, for this wonderful opportunity.
You do amazing work. It's such a gift.
Thank you. You need to come for a round pen. You both do.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would love to see what you do. And I used to ride. Yeah, I started in camp.
I would ride all the time, and then I stopped because you discover boys and they're more fun. So
yeah, but it is definitely a magical place, and if it's something that you're looking to get involved, please reach out to Marisa, because you won't be sorry. It's really good for healing.
It's really life-changing. A round pen is really life-changing, and it's one of those experiential feelings that you just don't. People usually go to a therapist and you lay on a couch and they say, how do you feel? Or sit in a chair. I don't feel well, I'm sad. But you're going through this experience and you're moving and you're watching the horse and you're present because you just want to know where the horse is all the time. So that's why you get a chance to heal.
Wow.
How long do people generally stay with you once they start coming?
Forever.
Okay.
They don't leave unless they move, or they have to get another job or something like that. But we have retired teachers and retired probation officers. I have military people here. I have MTA officers. There's so many, a lot of police, a lot of military and police.
Marisa, I meant people, clients who come for the healing benefits. And how long do they usually come to Spriit regularly? Or
Once a month.
One-time thing?
Once a month.
So once a month.
Yeah, once a month.
Very nice. I love it. Is there anything else you want to tell us that we don't know about?
I think we covered a lot of things. If people would like to send me an email and they want to set up an appointment with me, they can do that. I'd be happy to help anybody who would like to come here.
Let's give you contact information.
The events on your site, the events, you can see that on your website.
We post the events, we post everything. So we're having, it's sold out actually, a big barn bash on Saturday night. It's going to be out on the patio, and because we have a beautiful patio outside the barn.
Nice.
We need your contact information one more time, your email and the website.
Our website is spiritspromiserescue.org, and our phone number is 631-875-0433.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. And Lisa and I will.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
I can see Lisa, amazing work that you do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Special. I love special and unique ways to help, and people need help.
Well, you guys are doing a fantastic job too.
Thank you.
Again, bottom of our hearts, like you, inspired and believe in what we do, just like you. So, yeah.
Yeah, and we meet amazing people just like you, and
this is wonderful. It really is. It's absolutely wonderful what you guys do. I love this.
Yeah, it's fun. We have a lot of fun doing it.
All right.
So, okay, I think we're good, right?
Yeah. Thank you again.
Right. You guys take care.
All right. Thank you so much, Marisa.
Okay, bye-bye.
And Lisa, I'll see you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.